We are back with 428 Shibuya Scramble. Now let's check up on how we were doing. I gotta actually double check the charts for this one. Okay, that's right. I actually reached a keep out. So that means that we might be able to advance with Cano, apparently. Oh, no, that's right. This was the very start of everyone's thing. So Achi went up to 225. And then everyone else is just getting started. Osawa, we were stuck with. There's a jump that we can't do yet. Maria, we're, I think, stuck with? Or maybe, no, we might be able to do something with this, actually. Huh. We might be able to play as Maria. Okay, so we're gonna bring it up to the question of the day. Who are we gonna play as? Cano? Minorikawa? Maybe give Maria a token shot? That's it. Cano, Minorikawa, or maybe Maria. So place your votes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, fuck if I'm good memory. Minorikawa or Cano. Yeah, I was kind of flaking on that one. And apparently, maybe Maria? But let's see what people choose. I'm most curious. So Minorikawa, Cano, or Maria. We have one vote for Cano anyway. Do we have any others? One vote for Maria. So we are 1 and 1. 2 for Cano. Hello there, insane buffoon. So Kano's winning 2-1. Do we have anyone else? Because if not, then we're doing Cano. Nope, just kidding. We have 2 for Maria now as well. Do we have any other votes then? Because we got 2, and we also got 2. Another vote for Maria. I might just go with Maria anyway, just to see if we can do anything with these debt collectors. This is not good. Oh yeah, weren't we like supposed to look for a better place? But what if we say A? Getting involved with those thugs strikes me as a bad idea. I pretend not to know Yanagishita and run off. Ah, Tama! Wait up, please! I could still hear him calling pathetically as I scurry away. Ah. I didn't get to mention the transparent scratch cards, but that may be for the best. The guy really ought to develop a proper work ethic. Alright. Oh, this is, have we seen this before? The 3rd floor is packed with young girls. I spot a shirt that catches my eye and head to the fitting room to try it on. There, I realize there's something in my pocket. Something I must have been carrying around for a while. It's a photo. A photo of a white man. What? Stanley the agent? What? Who is this guy? I can't quite tell if I recognize him or not. What the hell? What was that flicker? This man. Huh? Yeah, that flicker again. Dangerous. Hello there, Crimson Alice. I hear someone's voice inside my head. Yo, this is ridiculous. Stay away from him. Is Stanley a secret bad guy? Flashes of memory flicker in my mind. I see a girl standing before me. I can't quite recall her face, but I get the impression she's someone very important. She speaks to me. Oh, and she's got the tattoo? Jeez, this man is dangerous. Stay away from him. That's all. Then I snap back to my senses. It feels like I was right on the cusp of remembering something critical. At any rate, it seems that there's some connection between me and the man in the photo. Try as I might, though, I can't recall anything more than that. Yeah, this game is crazy. That freaking sparkle sound. I try on the shirt I picked out. Yeah, that looks good. I decide to buy it and have the store toss out my torn sweater for me. Well, alright. Clothing upgrade. As I'm about to go down the escalator, a young man strides up to me as if I'm an old friend. So it's Achi. Here we go. There you are. I thought we were going to meet on the second floor. Going to meet? What's this guy talking about? I've never seen him before. Well, anyway, come on. We have to go hide. Hide? Why do we need to do that? Hide? Why? Because those guys might have found us. They're outside. He grabs my hand and I yank it away. Hey, come on, what gives? Is this some new pickup trick or something? Whatever it is, it's way too aggressive. I get the heck out of there. Hey, hey! The guy keeps shouting, but I ignore him and try to slip away into the crowd. This is probably a good jump moment for Achi, too. When I look back, though, I see that he's still following me. What do I do? For now, maybe I should head to another floor. Maybe I should hide someplace where there are fewer people. So what are we gonna do, chat? A, go to another floor, or B, hide someplace? Again, I'm curious as to where this is gonna go. I appreciate that there's not an option to just go with him, because that would probably settle the whole Maria Hitomi thing immediately. But we gotta get some drama in here. So yeah, hide or excuse me, leave, like another floor, or outright hide. What's it gonna be? I'm most curious. Yeah, the classic pickup move, attempt to kidnap. Damn, why doesn't it ever work? So what are we doing? We have 1 vote for A, 2 votes for A, 3 votes for A. 4 for A. I think we're kind of cleaning up with this one. For now, maybe I should head to another floor. Boom. I hurry toward the bank of elevators. Jesus. Yanagishita jump scare. Well, if it isn't Tama, what a coincidence! It's Yanagishita again. I try to walk on by like I didn't notice him, but it's already too late. He's really up in your face. Huh? Hey, where'd your boyfriend go? Boyfriend? I have no clue what he's talking about. Anyway, perfect timing. Hey there, Meowington. Can you give me back that magazine? Nothing you're saying is making any sense. I peer at him in confusion. Once again, Yanagishita looks like he might start to cry. Don't tease me like this. I did give it to you, right? No, you didn't give me anything. I get it. You wanted that 100,000 yen all to yourself, so now you're playing dumb, is that it? No, I honestly have no idea what this is all about. By now he's all worked up and getting red in the face. Look, you might have amnesia, but that excuse ain't gonna fly with me. Hey, Fool Arcana. The amnesia has nothing to do with it. He doesn't seem to want to believe me no matter what I say. Come on, hurry up and just give it back. Otherwise I'm gonna start bawling here, real loud. He's gonna cry? Seriously? This guy's a real piece of work. Well, what's it gonna be? You're gonna make a grown man cry? It would certainly be pretty embarrassing if he starts sobbing now, but I can't exactly give him back a magazine I never had. Oh god, the elevator door's open. Oh no! Well, if it isn't our little entrepreneur, we've been looking for you. It's the 2 thugs from before, and there's no avoiding them this time. Osawa Ozu and his underling Yutaro Sagawa, members of the Tenryugumi Yakuza Syndicate. Ozu is quite frightening when angry. His nickname is Ozu the Ogre, but despite his strong emotions, he is very logic-driven. Sagawa is the archetypical punk who likes to get into scuffles, but he's also a really good cook. Jesus! Yipes! The men drag Mr. Yanagishita into the elevator. Save me, Tama! He grabs hold of my hand. Hey, let go of me! Great, now I'm in the elevator too. And the doors are shutting. I love how they pulled us in, but they don't really care. It's just about Yanagishita. Now then, Mr. Yanagishita, says the bald-headed man, there's nowhere else to run. His tone is polite, but also pretty foreboding. Whoa, whoa, wait, just hold on. I can get you the money. I'm just about to get loads of it. Enough of your... poppycock? The hell decade is this? Enough of your poppycock, snarls the younger guy. Yeah, that's legit. That's a proper translation. You know the joke in here is going to be about how ridiculous that word is. Balderdash. Claptrap. Claptrap. Straight up nonsense. Taken from the Dutch papakak, meaning soft dung. Wow, I never knew that. But I love that they have balderdash and claptrap, other, like, old people expressions. I really mean it this time. Please, you have to believe me. Aha! I can pay you 100,000 right now. 100,000? You're really carrying around that much? Asks the bald man. No, not me, the girl. Oh, you dick. The men turn to eye me in unison. She's holding on to something that's worth 100,000 yen. What? The sudden turn of the conversation has me all flustered. Tama, please, Hanagishi says. Just hand it over. I already told you I don't know what you're talking about. The elevator stops at the first floor and the door is open. Toyama? Oh my god, this is a disaster. Oh. Standing on the other side of the doors is the guy I ran into earlier, Hana's father. The bald-headed man snarls. Toyama! I'll just get the next one. Hana's father bolts like a startled hare. The bald man and his crony stare after him. Now's my chance, Hanagishi hisses. He darts out of the elevator and makes a run for it. Yo, I did not think the game was going in this direction. Hey, after him, shouts the bald man. Yeah, I love how, like, two people in the chat are like, what? Poppycock is perfectly common from all the young people nowadays. After who? Him? Or him? Just start with Toyama. The two thugs race after Hana's father. They've left me all by myself. I'm worried enough to think about going after them, but before too long, I've lost sight of them all. For a long time, I just stand there, dumbfounded, like a hurricane victim lingering in the aftermath. Ugh. What a day this has been. When I finally get my wits about me, I realize I'm pretty hungry. That's right. I didn't get to eat lunch. I head for the 4th floor, where the restaurants are. Since I really don't want to run into Yanagishi and those other guys again, I decide to take the escalator. As I'm running it up, I hear a commotion coming from the floor below. It's a man's voice, shouting angrily. Out of my way, come on! I pay the outburst no heed and let the escalator take me up. That was probably a crossover point or something. Hey guys, want to go to Chinese restaurant? When I arrive at the 4th floor restaurant section, the sign for a Chinese buffet? No, buffet catches my eye. A style of dining where guests serve themselves freely from an array of prepared foods, taking as much of each as they want. Many hotels and restaurants tend to hold buffets at lunchtime or for brunch. Sometimes, however, this just winds up being a kind of cruel trap, with crowded lines making it take forever for you to even get near the food. Imabiki Chinese Restaurant. The name means something along the lines of fire of morning. I guess fire is important for cooking, but it's kind of an unsettling thing to call an eatery. Oh well, I guess the name doesn't really matter. Hello, da-da-da. I'm in a mood to straight up devour some Chinese food. When I go to enter, though, I'm stopped by one of the employees. Again, that ring girl. Like, what is going... Oh, I'm sorry, miss. I'm afraid we're not accepting any more, any customers. I mean, we're not really open. Not just now. She sounds a little bewildered by her own words. Why not? Well, you see, one of our other customers ate all of our food. Someone ate an entire restaurant out of food? Is that even possible? What I'm trying to say, miss, is that we're, closed for the day. Ugh, go figure. Looks like Mr. Yanagishi's bad luck has rubbed off on me. I guess I'll have to look for another restaurant to... Is that Hana? Hold up, who's that kid? Lying idly across the seats in the waiting area at the front of the restaurant is a young girl. Is this the girl that dismal-looking fellow has been searching for? She looks so sad it makes my heart ache. I can't just leave her here alone. Excuse me, is your name Hana? She looks wary at the question. Your father's been looking for you, I say. Hana ignores me and just stares up at the ceiling. Hey, how about we try to find your dad together? I coax the girl into getting up, then I call out to the restaurant staffer. Jeez, why do they keep doing this? Like, there isn't even really a horror vibe about it. They're just kind of doing this. This is amazing. Hey there, Katseth. Excuse me, where should I go to ask them to put an announcement on the PA system? Dunno. Maybe, the first floor? The security office? I love that that woman's, like, in a horror movie, but not really. Like, constantly. Right. Down we go. I take Hana with me, and we get on one of the elevators together. But her dad's currently being chased. Do you know my father? Hana's tone is pretty brusque. Well, I don't really know him, exactly. Then are you a debt collector? I laugh and shake my head. Would a debt collector be wearing an outfit like this? Hana lets out a deep sigh. So you're just kind of butting in then? Well, yeah, I guess so. I can't help but grin sheepishly. I feel like something about sad little Hana is stirring some of my lost memories. If I just came out and told her that, though, she'd probably think I was a total weirdo. So I decided to say something else. I guess I just get bored being all by myself. Guess I'm just the sort of person who can't ignore someone in trouble. So, A, I don't like being by myself. B, I'm a helper. What's it gonna be? Chat, I'm most curious. Yeah, right, Meowington, the restaurant employees in her own horror movie. Or she is her own horror movie. For real. So yeah, so we want company, or Hana looks like she's in trouble and we're just the kind of person to help out. How is this going to go down? I am curious. Hana is so done with this whole story. We have a vote for B, 2 for B, 3 for B, 4 for B, 5 for B. Okay, I think I'm getting the idea. 6 for B. 7 for B. Alright. Guess I'm just the sort of person who can't ignore someone in trouble. You're weird. Hana looks away from me. Well, maybe that choice didn't matter then. When I get to the security office, I hear voices coming from inside. I wonder what they're talking about. I peek in through the crack in the door and see a man with a cane speaking with a security guard. You must be kidding. How many exits are there that lead outside? That's also disturbing. There's the main entrance on the first floor, along with 2 side entrances. Also, there's one down on the first basement level and another in the second basement. The security guard spoke with polite precision. I see, says the man with the cane. I need you to shutter all exits except for the main entrance right away. Wow, dude. Understood, sir. Is this guy an authority figure? How is he able to just tell him to do that? Oh, this is bad. Attention, all shoppers. The announcement comes in over the loudspeaker. Due to maintenance, all first-floor entrances other than the main entrance have been closed. We apologize for the inconvenience. Customers wishing to leave, please use the main entrance on the first floor. This is bad. I'm not sure what just happened, but it sounds like the main entrance is now the only way out. Come on, I say. Let's have them make an announcement for us. But when I turn around, Hana is gone. She must have run off while I was distracted. Well, looky here, if it ain't that little cutie again. Oh, oh man, come on! The 2 thugs that were after Yanagishita come strolling toward me. Wow, you're a speedy one, huh? Says the bald man. Weren't you downstairs just now? And did you change your clothes too? He looks me over, seeming impressed. Hey, hold on. Let me see your face. The younger man grabs me by the wrist. You know Yanagishita, yeah? Go on and give him a quick little call for us. He gives me a sharp yank. Let go of me. Can it, girlie? Just give me a man a call and we're all good. I have nothing to do with that guy. Do it now. These guys aren't even listening to me. Now I'm pretty pissed off. What? I said I have nothing to do with that guy. I said and that guy is just gone. I whip my manhandled arm in a wide arc and send the younger man flying into a stack of boxes. Guess he must not have been expecting that. He hits hard. The impact knocks him out cold. Damn. Whoa, who the heck are you? The bald man asks, his eyes wide. Shut up, I tell him. You're next. Urgh. I flash a winning grin. He gathers up his fallen friend and drags him away as fast as he can go. Okay, that was pretty strange. It was just like when I was fighting Miku. My body seems to know how to pull off all these moves instinctively. Am I a martial artist, maybe? She's like Jason Bourne. She, like, forgot that she's a badass assassin. Anyway, I've got to find Hana. Easier said than done. I wander around the building, but I don't see any sign of the girl. Maybe she went back home? Yeah, Cat says, the cat costume is inside your heart. Eventually, I slumped down on a bench in a corner. I wish I could go home, too, I muttered to myself. Jesus, that didn't take long. Something cold presses against my neck. What? Is that what I think it is? Make a scene, and I slit your throat. Oh no, it is a knife. Who the hell are these guys? Two foreign men grabbed me by the arms from either side. In that moment, fragmentary memories flood through my mind. Are these members of the Syndicate? I'm on a street. It looks like someplace in the Middle East. I'm being dragged along by several men. I'm too scared to speak. There are people on the street, market vendors, but none of them seem willing to get involved. The men drag me into some back alley. Help me. Please, somebody help me. I'm being abducted. This must be Kanan, right? And then a dark silhouette drops down in front of me. The figure brandishes a knife threateningly at the men. Jeez. The blade moves with dazzling speed. My captors are all down in mere moments. Who is this? Who came to save me? I try my utmost to drag my memories to the surface. It's a girl. That's right, I'm certain of that much. I don't remember her face, but it's a girl younger than me. Walk faster. The angry hiss in my ear snaps me out of my flashback. What was that memory just now? I'm more concerned about the girl who saved me than I am about the men who've captured me now. The two thugs march me along, still holding me by the arms. Can't believe she was in a place like that. Yeah, talk about giving us the runaround. I can't figure out what they're talking about. A place like what? Giving them the runaround? Do you know me? The two men look at each other. Wait, are you the other one? One of them peers closely into my face. What are you talking about? What do you mean a place like... I stop as a sudden idea comes to me. Hold on, are you talking about that storehouse? The men look utterly confused. What are you talking about? One of them asks. I explain that I've lost my memory. This seems to make them pretty anxious. Also, I'm digging the knife puns in the chat. Knife guy, gonna dagger kicking and streaming. Boo. We gotta report this. One of the men takes out his cell phone and makes a call. He informs whoever's on the other end that I've lost my memory. I have no idea what's going on. Based on what I can follow from the conversation, though, it seems these were the people who had put me in that storehouse. But why had they done that? One of these guys asked if I was the other one. What could that possibly mean? Could it be? Did they abduct me because they mistook me for somebody else? If so, who? The more I try to think, the more muddy this all gets. You're telling me? Calm down. Just calm down. Let's think of what we know. What I do know for sure is that I woke up inside that storehouse, and evidently I took a blow to the head, and that's the cause of my amnesia. Hold on, that's strange. If these people had kidnapped me before, why wasn't the storehouse, well, locked? Seems pretty sloppy if they wanted to keep someone confined. What could all this possibly mean? Ooh, we're getting staticky. Or fuzzy. It's no use. I haven't the foggiest. None of this makes any sense at all. Let go of her. I craned my neck to see who spoke. It's the man with the cane who was at the security office. What? Who the hell are you? One of my captors barks. I said let her go. Did you not hear? The man with the cane pulls a gun from his suit pocket. Get lost. This isn't worth dying over. The two men take a few steps back and then bolt out of the alleyway. There is so much turnaround in this one chapter. Jeez. Who are you? My voice trembles slightly. Guess he's not here. The man takes a quick look around. Oh, he thinks that I'm Hitomi. He's looking for Achi? He? Do you mean Mr. Yanagishita? All that matters is that he's not here. Gun in hand, the man slowly approaches. Hitomi Osawa, I know you've done nothing wrong. What? I feel a jolt of surprise at the name. Hitomi Osawa? Is that my name? Whoa. His face a mask of stone, the man points the gun right at my head. Please, no hard feelings. This has got to be a to be continued, because we went way too long for this to be a bad end. Yeah, wow. Damn. This game's getting ridiculous. Hey there, John. Man, this story just keeps going. This is absolutely insane. Well, that takes care of Maria's story. Although, there was a jump point, wasn't there? Some new pickup trick? Yeah, Dragon Ace, Achi, where are you? Funny you should mention that. Boom, boom. Let's free Achi up. Boosh! Did it. Achi took the escalator down to the 3rd floor, and there was Hitomi standing right in the open after he'd been searching for her high and low. Here we go, we're back. There you are, I thought we were going to meet on the 2nd floor, Achi said. She stared back at him in confusion. Ah, well, anyway, come on, we have to go hide. Hide? Why? She gave him a dubious look. Achi felt like something was off, but now wasn't the time to dwell on it. Because those guys might have found us, he said. They're outside. Oh, good call, Fakafunder. Clothes changed in the character select. That's fantastic. I didn't even think about that. He took hold of Hitomi's hand. Hey, let go. What gives? She quickly yanked her hand away. Boom. Gone. Huh? As Achi tried to make sense of the way she was acting, she took off down the corridor. Hey, Hitomi! He hurried after her. It was like changing her clothes had also changed her personality. Still, he couldn't just leave her alone. The kidnappers might well be closing in. He stayed in pursuit of her, trying not to draw too much attention. Damn, this plot is getting freaking intense. He lost track of her somewhere near the elevators. Ugh, what is her deal? Unsure of what else he should do, he headed back down to their rendezvous point on the 2nd floor. When he arrived, he spotted Hitomi heading down the escalator ahead of him. Hitomi! Achi shouted, but his voice vanished into the noise of the crowd, and she disappeared onto the 1st floor. Damn it! Achi rushed down the escalator. He took the steps 2, 3, 5 at a time. That's a lot. 5? He made it to the 1st floor and looked around. There was Hitomi about to take a different escalator back up. Why is she doing this? He waved his arms to get her attention, but she didn't notice and headed right back up. What a pain in the ass. Down, up, what the heck is she thinking? Achi sped around and got on the upward escalator. Out of my way, come on! He shoved people aside as he ran up the moving stairs. Damn. But he saw no sign of Hitomi when he reached the 2nd floor. He'd lost track of her completely. Oh, come on! This is ridiculous! Achi's shoulders slumped. He felt exhausted, but he kept up his search, scouring one floor after another until eventually he made it down to the 2nd basement level. Hey look, it's a Pokemon! Batoof! Huh? Anybody? Had she grown too impatient waiting for Kanan and gone off searching for the blue minivan again? Yeah, Gregory, this game's frame rate is terrible. You're telling me, man, it's like 1 frame every 20 seconds. I think I can handle myself from here. He thought back to what Hitomi had said earlier. Damn it! She's not gonna be okay by herself. He pounded his fist into the wall in frustration. Please, stop! That was Hitomi's voice. She's right there. Hitomi! Wow, so those thugs got Hitomi and Maria, like, in rapid succession? Achi moved faster than he could think. Achi, she called back. A pair of thugs had grabbed her by both arms. Achi stopped his way toward them. Get your hands off of her, he shouted. Huh? What's it to you, pal? The older of the two, a middle-aged fellow, turned to Achi with a sneer. He looked familiar somehow. Hitomi shook herself free of the men and ran over to Achi. It's no use trying to act tough, buddy. We're just trying to get back what we're owed. Don't make us have to get rough with you. What, you're owed? Hitomi, do you owe people money? No, I don't. They just came after me and started going on about 2 million yen. She looked just as baffled by the situation as Achi was. If you're gonna blame someone, blame your boss, the older man said. This is way too much. He gestured to his lackey. A feral gleam flashed in the young punk's eyes. It was the look of a man who couldn't resist dishing out a beatdown. He brought up his fists and shifted his feet, shadowboxing a few quick jabs with his left hand. It looked to Achi like the guy was an experienced boxer. Really? Hold on, Hitomi said. What do you mean, my boss? Say what? Yanagishita, who the hell do you think? The young punk shuffled closer, fist still menacing. Then his expression changed. Hey. Hold on. Are you Achi Endo? Yeah, that's right. Haha, well, ain't that lucky, getting to throw down with you like this. The punk sounded pleased indeed. I've heard all sorts of rumors about you, you know? Let's see how true they are. Achi didn't like his chances in a straight-up fight with a trained boxer. What should he do? Oof. He better run for it. He had to apologize. He had to go for broke! Fight! So, what's it gonna be? A, get the hell out. B, apologize, and I don't know where you're gonna go from there. Or C, go for broke, and who the hell knows, man? I don't know. And yeah, Winterburn, these thugs really are having the worst day. They're constantly being misdirected. They're getting their asses beat, like, multiple times by multiple different people who have no idea what's going on with the other people. It's kind of magical. So what are we doing? Run, apologize, or go for broke? So we got 1 vote for C. Go for broke. 2 for C. 3. People really want this. Damn. 3 for C. Any more? 4 for C. Well, there you go. It's looking like this is going to be the option, I think. Yeah, Cat Sith. Burning Hammer would really, just hit the spot. Hey there, Starwish. Go for broke! Fight! His best chance was to hope for an opening to deliver a low kick. A kick using the foot or shin to strike the opponent in the thigh, just above the knee. In karate, this is known as Geden Mawashi Geri. I did not know that. Since the legs are longer than the arms, this is an effective technique against boxers. Fair enough. He needed to time it perfectly when his opponent took a step forward. With a loud breath, the thug shot out his left arm. Now! Achi shifted his stance and unleashed a low kick. Jesus! Suddenly, the elevator doors opened right nearby. Achi and the punk both stopped in mid-attack. A miserable-looking older man stood in the elevator. At the sight of him, the punk's face went red with rage. So did this guy escape them just to show up right in front of them again? Because Toyama... The thugs are having a bad day, but Toyama's really having a bad day. You, Toyama! Going up? He just pieces out. The man in the elevator hurriedly closed the doors. The 2 thugs rushed toward him, but the elevator had already begun heading back upward. Oh my god. Come on, after him, the older man shouted. The young punk raced up the stairs. You stay right where you are, the older fellow added, glaring at Hitomi. Then he followed after his lackey. Oh, these guys just can't get a break. Does he really think we're dumb enough to just wait here? Achi scoffed. Achi, I've been looking all over for you. Hitomi gave him an angry swat in the chest. For me? What are you talking about? Hey there, Galleon. You aren't waiting where you said you'd be. Yeah, because you went up to another floor. What do you mean? I went right where you said. On the 2nd floor. Huh? This wasn't quite adding up. The 2nd floor? What are you talking about? You went up to the 3rd floor. No, I didn't. Wait, what? None of this makes any sense. I actually felt like his brain was getting scrambled. Shibuya Scrambled. 428 Shibuya Scrambled. Well, anyway, at least I found you safe and sound. Yeah. The 2 smiled at one another. What's with those clothes? Hitomi's new outfit was completely different from the clothes she'd had on earlier. I tried on a few things, but wound up deciding on this. You tried other stuff on? Oh, okay, that explains it, Achi said. At least now things sort of made sense. That's nice, you know. What is? Your clothes, I mean. They look good on you. And yeah, really, Drake Hollow, just nobody in this game gets a break. Thank you. Heh. Wow, I'm actually blushing now. Well, it kind of made me blush to say it. Achi and Hitomi shyly avoid each other's eyes. Oh, so hey, Achi said, eager to change the subject. Do you still have that magazine? No, I don't see it anywhere. Oh, right, yeah. I was gonna just throw it away, but I couldn't. How come? Well, I haven't been able to find the right kind of receptacle. Newspapers and magazines are supposed to be kept separate from normal trash, right? Hitomi scanned the surroundings for a suitable bin. That's gonna score all kinds of points with Achi, by the way. Wait, are you serious? Yeah. You're thinking about proper recycling now, of all times? Is that weird? Uh-oh. I'm in trouble. I think you might just be perfect. Achi found himself blushing even harder now. Tama! A sudden yell snapped him out of his embarrassment. Yes. The sketchy-looking fellow who'd given her the magazine was scampering down the stairs toward them. Great, Achi said. The weirdo's back. The man ignored him, though, and leaned in close to Hitomi. Ah, ha ha ha! You do still have it! He snatched the magazine from Hitomi's hands. Yes, this one hasn't been scratched off yet! The man hunkered down on the floor and began scratching away at a scratch card stapled into the centerfold. Wait! Don't let him have that! Another man came swooping out of nowhere and yanked the magazine away. Yo, if the thugs come in now, they'll have all of their targets together at once. It was the older fellow who'd appeared in the elevator minutes before. You can't do that! That's mine! The sketchy-looking man clutched at the older newcomer. Let go! No way! I said let go! And I said no way! The two were fighting right in front of the exit, keeping Achi and Hitomi from leaving. How do you like this? The older man shouted, scratching away haphazardly at the ticket. Just like, what must this look like to people who don't know? Now it's just a worthless scrap of paper. Ah! My 100,000 yen! You mean my 100,000 yen? Then the middle-aged fellow looked back down at the ticket. Ah! What are the odds? Somehow in his random scratching, he happened to land himself a winner. Give it! No way! The two men took off, engaged in a running battle for the ticket. This is marvelous. What was the deal with those two? And what's the deal with the freaking organ music? What is this? What is this? We're playing, like, the level before Dracula in Castlevania. This is freaking bizarre. I'm not sure. Achi and Hitomi could only stand there, dumbfounded. On the other hand, hey, look at the time. It's almost 3. Yeah, Meowington, being the actors and posing for those segments must have been freaking wonderful. The two headed hurriedly off for the Gigo back entrance. But just as they were nearing the doors, the shutters dropped down in front of them. Right! All the exits are blocked except for the main one. Whoa, what gives? Due to maintenance, all entrances other than the main entrance on the first floor have been closed. We apologize for the inconvenience. Customers wishing to leave, please use the main entrance on the first floor. Achi glared at the loudspeaker. It looked like there was no exit to the back after all. I've got a really bad preposition? I mean, I like, normally be feeling, but like, this is just Achi goofing with words. I guess premonition. Perhaps a deadly one? Yeah, you mean premonition. Hitomi had gotten quicker to butt in with her corrections. Holding on to their premonitions, then, the two hurried their way up the stairwell. Well, they're at least able to go. As Hitomi tried to head out the first floor entryway, Achi yanked her back. Careful. What's the matter? Well, it's that guy. Huh? Hitomi's expression stiffened. Jeez. Slipping behind a nearby pillar, Achi pointed to the man with the cane who was keenly eyeing shoppers as they came and went. That's so creepy. Well, this bites. No way we're getting out with him there. Achi. Hitomi whispered in his ear. Behind us. Oh my... Achi glanced back and saw the two goons walking in their direction. Uh-oh. If those two caused a scene like before, the assassin would notice them for sure. Ah! The younger punk had spotted them. Damn it, Achi thought, gritting his teeth. Eep! But the thuggish pair let out a teensy squeak and then darted off in a different direction, vanishing from view. What the heck? Achi and Hitomi watched them go, unsure what to make of the sudden retreat. Well, anyway, Achi said after a moment, now we can try to find another way out. Taking Hitomi by the hand, he headed back into the shopping area. That was weird. Who would scare them off? I actually don't know who that would be. The back entrance on the first floor, that was a no-go. The other emergency exits were also locked down, which meant the main entrance on the first floor really was the only choke point in or out. It was almost time for them to meet Kanan. They needed to find some way to bust out of here. The pair headed back toward the main entrance. Yo, this sucks. Then they saw the man with the cane again, heading in their direction. He hadn't seen them yet, but there was no way they'd avoid him if they didn't do something quick. Guess for now we gotta go up, Hachi said to Hitomi. They started racing up the nearest escalator, which was descending from above. My bad, coming through! Sorry, please excuse us! They fought and shoved their way past a stream of people riding in the other direction. They could see the second floor now. Achi figured they'd be in the clear once they got there. But then a large woman appeared at the top of the escalator heading down. She was the only one who'd been in the Chinese restaurant on the 4th floor. Or she was the one who'd been in the Chinese restaurant, yeah. Oh, that's right! Yeah, good call. They were afraid of Hitomi because they thought she was Maria. Good call. I totally forgot that. The one who supposedly packed an entire buffet into her belly. She was wide enough that Achi and Hitomi would never be able to slip past her. Yeah, but I mean, she's, like, standing in a way that's, like, blocking everything. You could just ask her to move for a second. Hey, out of the way, Achi shouted, but the young woman ignored him. Achi tried to push past, but he just bounced off? What? They were drifting inevitably back down toward the first floor. It was like they were riding a conveyor belt that was delivering them right to the assassin. Final boss! This was not good. If they didn't do something soon, they'd... Wait a sec. Something must have caught the assassin's eye. Achi saw him suddenly rush outside. This game is bananas. But now there was a chance to escape. Achi and Hitomi raced out the door. Yeah, so now he's following Maria, thinking she's Hitomi, so he's going to take out, or deal with at least, those two men in black. This game is insane. And it's still not to be continued. Outside, the man with the cane was nowhere to be seen. Looks like we're safe. Achi let out a sigh. For now, someone said, keep your eyes open. Oh, jeez. There she is. The sudden words made the two turn with a start. Kanan was standing right behind them. She'd gotten this close, and neither of them had noticed a thing. She moved with all the skill of an assassin. Achi felt a chill shoot through him. To be continued? The entire chapter was trying to meet her, and then we finally meet her, and then that's the end of it. Like, we don't actually get to see what this is about. This game really knows how to tease. It's amazing. Yeah, Fakafan, she does look a little bit like Alcarawan. Like with that hairstyle. Well, alright. We did it. Yeah, Maria totally changed clothes on the thing. That's amazing. Alright, so final two, right? Because I don't think we can do anything with Osawa yet because his interactions concern Kano. So are we going to play with Kano or Minorikawa? Place your votes, ladies and gentlemen. Kano is apparently going to be relevant to Osawa and completing his story, and he's dealing with Stanley and this investigation. Minorikawa's computer just died. What is he going to do? So, which would you prefer to see, Kano or Minorikawa? Because both of these plot lines are engaging in their own ways, which I love. So how are we doing this? One vote for Kano. Two for Kano. Three for Kano. 1 for Minorikawa. 2 for Minorikawa. Wow, it's neck and neck. 3 for... Jeez, okay, so 3 for 3. 4 for Minorikawa. Wow, he's taking over. 5? Damn, I didn't think it was gonna be that, but alright. Alright, Minorikawa. How are we gonna deal with our freaking laptop? Huh. No! I think he points in his character select screen all the time, but this was a nice transition in this case. Minorikawa's cry of despair echoed throughout the cafe. Anyone who's been in places like this where college students are studying have probably heard this before, maybe once. His laptop monitor stared back at him, black and empty. Don't you die on me, buddy! He jabbed his finger sharply at the screen. But the computer gave no response, looking well and truly dead. What the hell? Minorikawa pounded his fist on the table. This would be a worst-case scenario even if he weren't desperately pressed for time. Guess I'll just have to write by hand then. He rummaged around inside his bag and pulled out a notebook. I can still do this, he shouted, doing his best to psych himself up for the task ahead, while everyone else in the cafe desperately tries to ignore him. I will still do this. Excuse me? The waitress appeared timidly beside him. What? Minorikawa snapped, his pen still flying across the paper. Sir, if you could please quiet down. Yeah. My damn computer just broke. I'm allowed a scream or two. Minorikawa was in no state of mind to be quiet. If it weren't for the deadline he was racing to meet, he'd probably have gone on screaming until he passed out. Your computer is broken, you say? The waitress peered at the monitor. Yeah, look. It just suddenly stopped displaying anything. Could it be that, the battery is just dead? Minorikawa sat bolt upright. That's it! The waitress flinched as Minorikawa's finger jabbed toward her face. I hadn't considered that possibility. Hey, let me plug in somewhere. There's an outlet right there, sir. She pointed at an outlet by Minorikawa's feet, making no attempt to hide her exasperation. Minorikawa plugged in the power cable and the monitor sprang to life as normal. So, now that that's sorted, would you please be quiet, sir? Don't talk to me, you're interfering with my writing. Minorikawa's fingers had already begun dancing across his keyboard. Minorikawa is simultaneously, like, the most fun character, but also, like, the most obnoxious to other people. With a sigh, the waitress disappeared back into the kitchen. Damn, blurry fingers. Oh yeah, now we're talking! His fingers picked up speed as he went about touch typing. The act of typing in a keyboard without looking at the keys. The aspiration of computer novices everywhere. The typical method involves placing the index fingers on the F and J keys, with the middle ring and pinky fingers resting on the A, S, D, or K, L, and semicolon keys to either side, from which all other keys are easily reached. With practice, a touch typist can instinctively hit the correct key every time without looking, and then play Mario Teaches Typing and win. That's the true goal. The pros and cons of surveillance cameras. Proprietor of outdated electronics shop oversees high-tech camera system. Bedlam at bogus weight loss drink sales demo. Bankrupted organizer remains undiscouraged. Now Minorikawa's spirits were riding high. His writing rolled along at a brisk pace. Sir? It was the waitress again, her voice yanking Minorikawa right out of his soaring mood. Sir? Now what? Has the President of the United States agreed to give me a one-on-one interview? The waitress's eyes went wide with confusion. Huh? Because unless it's something that important, do not speak to me right now. But she was undeterred. Sir, please, if you could just be a little quieter. Minorikawa's fingers ceased their rattling across the keys. Just what sound do you have a problem with? All I've been doing is writing a copy. Well, for the last while, actually, you've been talking while you write, sir. Nice. Yeah, Dracologist, I've never heard the expression speed typing unless it's like a regional expression or something. I've heard touch typing, because you're touching the keys without actually looking at them. Like you're navigating by touch in a manner of speaking. Talking? Minorikawa tilted his head in confusion. Yes, sir, you've been talking about an electronics store and some bogus weight loss drink. Oh, in addition, it doesn't necessarily have to be speed typing. It's just typing without having to look at the keys. I assume that's what you're writing about? You're saying I've been narrating my copy aloud while writing it? That's right, sir. Other customers sitting nearby were openly snickering. Well, so what? He snapped. He was red in the face now. You should all be delighted that you get to hear what I'm writing before the magazine goes to print. What an asshole. Well, actually, sir, one of our customers has been complaining. Complaining? Of all the nerve. Who was it? Where are they? Minorikawa scanned the other patrons, many of whom were unsuccessfully trying to hide their laughter. What a freaking, like, what's the word for this? What a character. It was me. Yes! It was the grumpy older fellow who'd been making a scene earlier. Bogus diet fads, peeping security cameras, reminds me of that sleazy tabloid, 4-star general gossip I hate so much. Oh-ho! You sure seem to know a lot about it for something you hate so much. The man's face twisted up with scorn. Your behavior is bothering everyone in here, he said. Do you not understand that? No, I don't. Guess a reporter who writes nothing but nonsense prefers nonsense in everything he does. Minorikawa could feel his blood boiling. What was that? Go on, say that again. Oh, gladly. Nonsense, filth, codswallop, flim-flam, balderdash, poppycock, claptrap. You bastard! How dare you! Minorikawa stormed over to the man's table. Flim-flam indeed. This is the best game. Bogus or insincere content. Few things anger Minorikawa more than reporters using dishonest means to create a story. Having his own work, called flim-flam, would naturally make him blow his top. Codswallop! Oh my god, this is great. Just who are you calling flim-flam? The other man stood up and glowered in Minorikawa's face. You. You utterly lack any manners or sense of decency, for starters. I have plenty of manners and decency. I also happen to have a deadline. Bah! As if a flim-flam artist like you has a work ethic. Yeah, Tadada is like putting asterisks and flim-flam so it's like, so it won't trigger like the swear word filter. Stop calling me flim-flam! The waitress inserted herself between the two men. Gentlemen, please, stop fighting. I demand that you remove this man at once, the older fellow barked. He's the one who should be kicking out, Minorikawa shot back. By now, he was ready to go for this guy's throat. Please, the waitress pleaded. Both of you, return to your seats. She grabbed onto Minorikawa and began to forcibly drag him back to his table. Oh, it's too late for that. Giving in to his anger, Minorikawa threw a punch at the troublemaker. Okay, just calm down. Minorikawa did his best to swallow his pride. Oh man. Oh man. So what's it gonna be? A, just go for broke, or B, do our damn job? How is this gonna, with the father-in-law just there being a dick, how is this gonna play out? Yeah, right, Winterburn, I have great manners and I'll punch anyone who says otherwise. Like, the beatings will continue until morale improves. Yeah, of course the chat's saying A, how could they not? I'm pretty sure B's the right answer, although you never know with this game, but I really want to see A. Just take a swing at Kano's girlfriend's father. Oh my god. There are a couple votes for B, but A is sweeping this. Actually, that's not what sweeping is. A is clearly winning, though. Oh, it's too late for that. Giving into his anger, Minorikawa threw a punch at the troublemaker. Grah! The man dodged nimbly, however. You're not bad. Oh, that's right! This guy's ex-cop! Oh, no! I'm 6 down in judo. What? Who? Minorikawa? Because judo's not punching. Ah, you should have mentioned that earlier. Minorikawa hastily retreated to his seat. Jesus, the dad's 6... Oh, so Minorikawa said you're not bad. The father-in-law is 6 down in judo. Christ's sake. Wow. Don't fight that guy. The other man snorted and sat down with a scowl. So I guess either way, we just deal with it. But that's marvelous. Wow. The needless interruption, just when he'd finally gotten into writing mode, had all but killed Minorikawa's motivation. He decided he needed to take a breather. He turned to the waitress. Minorikawa, you gotta stop doing that. 1 spaghetti Napolitan, please! Spaghetti flavored with tomato ketchup. Napolitan is a corruption of Neapolitan, though the dish itself has no connection to the Italian city of Naples, Napoli. Rather, it originated as a menu item at a hotel in Yokohama shortly after World War II. There is also a spaghetti dish from Nagoya called Milanese, which likewise has no connection to the Italian city of Milan. Wow. Okay. He might not have a lot of spare time, but working on an empty stomach wouldn't do him any favors. While waiting for his order to come out, he decided to read back over the copy he'd written so far. What? When he looked back at the monitor, the screen was black yet again. Looking down at his feet, he saw that the power cable was now unplugged. "Hey, what kind of cafe are you people running here?" he shouted. The waitress hurried over, looking combative. "Sir, you yanked it out yourself when you stood up earlier." "What? A likely story." "It's the truth, sir." "For God's sake, stop it, Minorikawa." Minorikawa pointed at one of the customers sitting next to him. "Is she telling the truth? Did I really yank my power cord out myself?" The man nodded sheepishly. "Yeah, well, then that's the outlet's fault for being someplace where it unplugs so easily," Minorikawa squawked. God damn. The waitress marched away, head held high. "Just make sure that spaghetti's delicious," Minorikawa shouted after her. What? "Do that and I'll consider us even." God, what an asshole. "Oh, and load it with cheese. Lots of cheese." Yeah, like your performance, Minorikawa? He plugged the power cable back in, then let out a heavy sigh. In all his writing fervor, he hadn't thought to save his work. I knew it. I was going to say something about that. Always make sure to save your work to avoid losing data. Honestly, why is it that your computer only seems to freeze when you've forgotten to save your stuff? He was probably going to have to rewrite most of what he'd done. Jesus Christ, Minorikawa. "Excuse me." Minorikawa looked up to see a young woman standing there. "I'm so sorry," she said. "About my father." "Oh!" She gave a tiny bow. "Your father?" "Oh, the rude old man. He's just a little worked up right now. Please don't pay him any mind." "So what, you're waiting on your boyfriend?" "Huh?" The woman was taken aback. "I happened to hear you two arguing earlier. Would have been about 2 hours ago?" "Oh, I see." An awkward, embarrassed smile came to the woman's face. "I thought he was going to ask my father for permission to marry me, so we've been waiting for him, but he hasn't shown up?" "No. He must be really busy." She cast her eyes down sadly. Minorikawa took a better look at her. She was gorgeous. A woman with her looks wasn't something he saw every day, that was for sure. "Say, would you mind talking with me for a bit?" he asked. "Me?" "Yeah. I kind of need to turn my mood around here." "Well, okay. At least until my father gets back." "Oh, Dracologist, use a cloud. This game was made in 2008, so unfortunately that's not an option. But for people who are watching this video now, yes, use the cloud. And email yourself. Do whatever it takes." The woman cast an anxious look back toward the restrooms. "What's your name?" "Rumi." She sat down across from him. "Wait a second, aren't you—" Minorikawa peered at Rumi's face. "One of those twins that was chosen as Miss Midoriyama?" Rumi shook her head. "No, not me." "No? Darn. Didn't think I'd be that lucky." And now he slurps. Christ, Minorikawa, like, not a people person, huh? He took a sip of his now cold coffee. "I do know the girls you're talking about, though," Rumi said. No, I've never seen that before, actually. Like a freeze-frame spit take? Like, at the camera? That's fantastic. Poof! Minorikawa spat out his coffee in surprise. All over her face, I guess. Yup. Rumi squeaked in alarm as the spray splattered her face. God damn it, Minorikawa. But Minorikawa leaned in, unconcerned. "You mean it? You really know them?" "Yes," Rumi replied. "You're talking about the Osawa twins, right?" She got out a handkerchief and wiped the coffee from her face as she spoke. "Osawa, huh?" Minorikawa glanced down at the project proposal on the table. Sexy squared. Twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Midoriyama Academy, Maria and Hitomi Osawa. Yes, that's it. The Osawa twins. I actually won Miss Midoriyama myself a few years ago. This year I served as one of the judges. Minorikawa adopted a self-satisfied pose. Guess I really was born under the right sign to be a freelancer. The leads just come to me. Sure, Rumi muttered. Okay, let's talk basics then. Tell me what you know about these girls. Well, I don't really know them personally. Rumi continued to dab at the coffee in her face. Oh, Dragon Ace, is slurping a sign that you like stuff in Japan? Like, I knew you were supposed to, like, drink the remainder of your soup out of the bowl, but I don't know about slurping coffee or anything. Maybe? I don't know. But now that you ask, I do remember hearing that they entered the contest separately. Wait, separately? Now Minorikawa was a bit confused. Yes, that's right. I'd assumed they'd entered as a pair, but apparently not. I wonder why. I mean, they're twins. Don't they look alike? Wear the same clothes? Do everything together? And say the same things at the same time and stuff? Ugh, god damn it, Minorikawa, no. Rumi chuckled and shook her head. No, not at all. Besides, these two aren't identical. They're fraternal twins, she said. Fraternal even though they're identical looking? What? Twins who were born at the same time from two eggs that were fertilized separately. Fraternal twins do not share the same genetic information. They can differ in such characteristics as sex and blood type, though there are cases of fraternal twins resembling one another almost as close as identical twins. Really? Maria and Hitomi Osawa happen to look very closely alike, but they don't have the same blood type. Oh, that's... Okay, that of course plays into why they're looking for Hitomi's blood for whatever reason. Maybe for the virus thing, and it might be what we need to save Achi's sister. Oh, Dragon Ace. Okay, the chat said that slipping ramen is appropriate, not coffee maybe? Okay. Although at a glance, they do look very similar. Still, how should I put this? They both give off a very different impression. Oh? Now that sounds interesting. Mind explaining what you mean? Minorikawa opened his memo pad. I talked to them briefly after the award ceremony. The older sister struck me as really energetic, but the younger one was more quiet and reserved. Minorikawa's investigative senses were tingling. I wouldn't figure a shy girl would want to enter a campus beauty contest. I suppose not, no. Yeah. I don't suppose you've got anything juicier? Minorikawa asked. Rumi frowned. Would you like to just go ask them yourself? She said. They don't live very far from here. Whoa, hold the phone. Minorikawa could hardly believe what had just fallen into his lap. Meowington, I suspect that Hitomi's the one with the antivirus as opposed to Maria, which is why they wanted Hitomi to deliver the money to Maria because they'd captured, like, the wrong twin. So Minorikawa could hardly believe what had just fallen into his lap. The advanced info on the project proposal had mentioned the girls were students of Minoriyama, but hadn't given an actual address. If he could talk to them directly, now that would be pay dirt. You know where they live? Well, not exactly. I just heard that they lived in Shoto. Aha, Shoto. That wasn't far away. A car or motorcycle could get there in about 10 minutes. It'd be quicker than going to Midoriyama Academy, and he'd be able to meet with the girls themselves. Minorikawa flashed a quick look toward the restroom. It looked like Rumi's father had just gotten back. Sorry, she said. I should be going. No problem, and thank you. Rumi gave him a quick nod, then hurried back to her seat. Minorikawa grabbed the directory from the public phone and flipped through the pages. To his surprise, there were only 5 listings for the name Osawa with addresses in Shoto. There was neither a Maria nor a Hitomi, but he hadn't expected there to be. He'd need to find their parents. Wasting no time, he called up the first Osawa on the list. Oh boy! Bingo! Minorikawa couldn't help but pump his fist in excitement. He got in the right place on his first try. Way to go, me! He committed the house number listed in the phone book to memory. Just then, the waitress reappeared with a disgruntled expression, no kidding, and Minorikawa's order of spaghetti Napolitan. Here you are, sir. That is a lot of cheese. Oh-ho. The pasta was piled high with an impressive mound of grated cheese. It looked almost like a miniature mountain of snow. You did say lots of cheese, sir, the waitress told him. She set down a canister of cheese and a bottle of Tabasco, a sauce made by the US-based McIlhenny Company, consisting of hot peppers, grain vinegar, and rock salt. Known for its distinctive spiciness, it can make spaghetti and pizza quite tasty, with the addition of just a few drops. Tabasco also goes pretty well with ramen and curry. Recommended for times when flavor is lacking a little punch. However, even 1 drop may be too much for those who can't handle spicy things. It has been claimed that Tabasco was first imported to Japan by a certain well-known former pro wrestler, but the story is untrue. Huh. Ooh, this looks good, Minorikawa exclaimed. Yeah, there's that grated Parmesan in English, behind him. He twirled some spaghetti up with his fork and shoved it into his mouth. That really does look good. Except for the cheese, I'm not a fan, but that pasta looks great. The slightly sour sweetness of the ketchup blended perfectly with the mellow flavor of the cheese. Oh, that is tasty. There was nothing like satisfying grub to lift the spirits. He turned back to his laptop, still wolfing down the spaghetti. Alright, we're back in action. Let's do this. Yet again, he unthinkingly blurted his words aloud as he slipped back into writing mode. I've got this. I've got this! With ketchup smeared around his mouth, he set his fingers tapping away at the keys. The waitress let out another groan of dismay. Huh? You say something? Minorikawa glanced in her direction, but the waitress faked a smile. No, sir, I don't think so. Yeah? Well, then go away. You're distracting me. God, what an asshole. He makes a fist! The moment he looked away, she clenched her fist in indignation. Hmm? Nothing, sir. Good luck with your work, sir. I don't need luck. I got this. I have this! And he raises a .357 Magnum. Eyes jumping back and forth between pasta and computer, Minorikawa got to work on his copy once more. And she makes a fist once more. Before long, he was oblivious to every sound of the cafe around him. Thakafan, you know he's not going to leave a tip. Oh, actually, no, he wouldn't. Outside of America, tipping isn't really much of a thing. When he finally snapped out of his writing mode, he glanced at his watch. It was 2:20. That's it? Almost time for him to head to his next interview. Better get a move on. All that and we're only 20 minutes in? Kimizuka's taxi came by just as Minorikawa was hurrying out of the cafe. Well, what a pleasant surprise, Minoru called out. Nice timing, my man. Kimizuka's startled look quickly vanished behind an expression of professional resignation. Do you need a ride, sir? You know it, Minorikawa replied. First, head to Shoto. After that, I'll need to get to Sakuragaoka. As he cast his gaze out at the sights of the city, Minorikawa mulled over his plan for the next part of the day. First, he'd interview the Miss Midoriyama girls. Then he'd meet with the head of that theater troupe. In order to leave himself enough time to write his copy, that meant... I'd like to get this all wrapped up in 20 minutes, he said. Yeah, Thakafan, tipping is really not much of a thing elsewhere, because they actually pay people money, they actually pay, like, servers money that, like, counts as real payment. Can you make that happen? Kimizuka flashed a grin. That will incur a special fare, sir. Ooh, special, Minorikawa said as he got settled in his seat. I love that word. Kimizuka stepped on the gas. Shibuya was a town of contrasts. It was a town of young people, unpretentious, energetic. The Scramble intersection and center guy perfectly conveyed that vibrancy. And look, now it actually is a blue sky. It's very cloudy, but I can see the blue this time. Yeah, Gallian, kind of awkward in Japan because they expect 110% out of all times of employees. Yeah, like, I once went to, Scotland in 2008, and I asked the person I was with what the tipping rate is, and I was told, don't do it unless the service is, like, insane, because otherwise the servers might actually take it as an insult, like you don't think they get paid enough, because in America they literally do not get paid enough, like, they rely on tipping. However, if one turned right at the 109 building and headed down Bunkamuradori, the town's whole atmosphere changed. Shoto was one of Shibuya's, indeed one of Tokyo's, most upscale residential districts. Wherever one looked, there were stately manor houses giving off an imposing air, sending the message that this was no place for the common folk. Yeah, right, Dracologist. A blue sky with a chance of virus bombing. Right here's fine. Minorikawa directed Kimizuka to pull over. Wait here for me. I'll be right back. You know, I'd just like to point out that in the very beginning of the game, remember that Osawa got an email from Minorikawa because he typed the name wrong, and so he didn't get to Toyama in time, and then everything went to hell. And that was a bad end, so that didn't actually happen. But now Minorikawa's, like, supposed to meet him, which is kind of amusing. Good night, Crimson Alice. Hopping out of the taxi, he checked the nameplates of the nearby homes. Ah, here we go. He'd spotted a nameplate that read Osawa. Kenji Osawa, huh? The name nagged at him somehow. It had been in the back of his mind ever since he'd seen it in the phone book back at the cafe. Had he heard it someplace before? He walked up to the gate and pressed the button for the intercom. The intercom button is a doorbell sound? Even the little chime it made when pressed sounded elegant. Minorikawa waited, but there was no response. He looked at his watch. It was 2:30 now. His interview with Shinosuke Orai of the Wandering Angels was supposed to have started already. Ooh, rough. Episode 3. With help from Shinichi Bando, Mondo was able to get out of his apartment. Then, when all the players had finally assembled, the troupe proceeded with one last rehearsal before showtime. But again, tragedy struck. Mondo came down with food poisoning after eating his lunch. He was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance, and the Angels were once again lacking an actor for the key role of Shido. Orai was on the verge of panic. Finally, however, he came up with a solution. Novice actor Takuya Amo, age 31, would take on the part. Continued in episode 4. Oh boy. Still, he wanted to meet with the twins first if it was possible. He had to make a choice. He decided to wait a little bit longer or give up and head to his interview. Well, we know that we're supposed to head to our interview because the twins obviously aren't here. They're the plot. But still, it might be interesting to see what happens. So what should we do? A, wait a little longer, or B, go to the interview? How are we going to play this out, chat? Not to mention, you never know with this game what the right answer is anyway. I mean, I strongly think it's B, but I've been wrong before, multiple times, so who knows? So A for wait, B for to hell with it, we're going to go to the interview we've already scheduled. How is this going to work? 1 vote for A, 2 for A. Yeah, people are saying A to see the bad end. We got 2 votes for A just to see what happens, I guess. Do we have any more votes? Because if not, I'll just stick around, I guess. 3 for A. It looks like we're going in that direction. Alright, let's go. Just 5 more minutes. The front door opens. Kajiwara. Whoa, what? Oh, this must be a bad end because we didn't bounce with Kano. There's no way this should happen. A grim-looking man emerged, leading another man in handcuffs. Minorikawa was standing in their way. "Pardon us," the serious-looking fellow said. He gave Minorikawa a curt bow as he passed by. Minorikawa smelled the distinct odor of a scoop. "Hey, does that guy live here?" he asked. The man ignored him and kept moving. But Minorikawa followed. He couldn't let this opportunity pass him by. "Hey, wait up! Is that Mr. Osawa?" With a grimace, the man pushed Minorikawa aside and hurried his handcuffed prisoner along. For a moment, Minorikawa wondered if he should keep after them, but he decided against it. Fakafan, Osawa might be, like, not the most interesting actual character, but his story is captivating. Yeah, Dragon Ace, he confessed to the virus, but again, that was a bad end. So, like, I don't think this scene is supposed to happen. Whatever was going on here, he doubted he'd be able to get an interview with the twin girls right now. This had all been an unfortunate waste of time. He had no real choice but to head along to his next interview. Yeah, so we just lost time. This has got to lead to a bad end. A few minutes later, the rear tires skidded sharply as the cab came to a stop beside a different curb. The trip from Shoto to the theater in Sakuragaoka had taken almost no time at all. "Here we are, sir," Kimizuka announced. Wow, that was fast. Or that was fast. Still, Minorikawa was at least 5 minutes behind schedule. He hoped he'd still be able to get the interview with Orai. Keep out. You know, I really wonder what's going to happen. I'm going to choose... Well, no, you know what? I'll let the potential bad ending sit. Now we're going to Kano because we have no choice. Kanon? Kano muttered. What's Kanon? The stench of blood hung heavy in the basement bar. Stanley was silent, staring at the criminal's corpse. Hey, do you know anything about this? Kano asked. Still, Stanley gave no response. The silent treatment again, huh? Kano huffed. The American glanced at him gravely. In all likelihood, the one who did this was acting alone. Alone? Against this many other people? Who on earth? There's no need for you to know. This guy! Cut the crap, Kano snapped. He grabbed Stanley by the collar. If there's someone involved in this case who's capable of something like this, I need to know about it. How am I supposed to do my job if you keep me in the dark? Stanley remained stone-faced. Look, I'm not afraid of the risks, Kano said. And I'll be a lot more effective if you at least fill me in on the basics here. The more you know, the sooner you'll wind up dead. Kano tightened his grip. But it's okay if I wind up dead while I'm still in the dark, huh? Fine, Stanley said. I'll answer your first question. He brushed Kano's arm aside. Kanan is the name of a covert operative from the Middle East. In simple terms, a type of spy that infiltrates hostile territory to carry out various clandestine activities. I believe she's the one who killed these people here. The Middle East? A covert operative? Kano hadn't expected spycraft to be involved with this. Yes, she's an assassin and a cryptanalyst specialist. Do you recall the mass jailbreak from Abu Ghraib prison a while back? A prison in Iraq, west of Baghdad, facility for political prisoners on the Iraq War. The U.S. being tortured by U.S. soldiers were released, causing a massive scandal. President Bush later made the decision to have the facility demolished. Jesus. Yep, that was a thing. Kanan was the one who provided the intel the escapees used to get out. Kano was at a loss for words. The case was suddenly starting to seem a whole lot more sinister. Whoever this Kanan was, she'd apparently killed nearly a dozen people with only a knife. She was clearly no one to trifle with. Just what kind of individual were they dealing with here? He could scarcely imagine. Once again, Kano surveyed the crime scene. Each of the murdered criminals had had his throat slit. From the look of the deep, clean cuts, the killer hadn't hesitated in the slightest. Okay, so then what connection does this Kanan have with the mastermind behind this kidnapping? If Kanan had killed all the foreign syndicate members in this bar, did that mean she and the person behind the kidnapping were enemies? Or perhaps she and the kidnapper were working in concert, and she'd carried out these slayings as part of some plan to get rid of some loose ends? I believe I said I'd answer one question. Turning away, Stanley picked up a file from atop a nearby table. Apparently he wasn't in the sharing mood. Realizing that further questions would be pointless, Kano peered sidelong at the file as Stanley opened it. Inside was a detailed map of Shibuya. What does that say? There's a particular address written in pen. There were various routes marked with arrows and times. I'm looking at the red though on the right. That's the plan for the ransom relay. Kano was so excited he blurted his thoughts out loud. It appeared that the ultimate goal for the ransom was a condominium. The address and the time, 1420, were written in red ink. Oh, and it's getting to that time. Kano put in an immediate call to the investigation task force to relay this information. Oh, is this where we make a decision to save Osawa? The final destination is Ground Hill 405 in Hiro 534 Shibuya. Alright, Kuze told him. We'll look into who owns the condo in question. You and Stanley head over there now. I'm sending backup to go in with you. You have authorization to apprehend the suspect. Finally hearing the order that he'd so long been waiting for, Kano felt a spark of determination flare inside him. Alright, let's go, he said, some of his excitement slipping into his voice. Stanley, still solemn, closed the file and followed him out of the bar. Stanley drove along Inokashira-dori toward Hiro, where the finish line for the ransom relay was located. His demeanor was cold and brooding, in sharp contrast with Kano's gung-ho readiness. He seemed lost in some deep and cheerless thought. Kuze's voice came in over the wireless as the car came out onto Meiji-dori. We've identified the owner of the condominium. It's... Kano held his breath in anticipation. The name Kuze spoke caught him by surprise, entirely. Yeah, so we gotta do this right. Now we can do Osawa, I think. Boom. We're bouncing. We got it. Bam! And we're in. Kuze's voice came in over the wireless as the car came out onto Meiji-dori. Well, it's Mamoru Tanaka. Ah! He's a colleague of Kenji Osawa. What? Kano squawked. This was an unexpected twist. Kajiwara confirms that Tanaka left the Osawa residence at just after 1400 hours. No word on his movement since then. It's possible he headed to his private condo, where the attaché case is slated to end up. Any officer who runs across Tanaka is to apprehend him on sight. Damn, what a twist. Kuze cut the connection. This mastermind you've been chasing? Kano asked. Is it Tanaka? Stanley didn't reply. Fine, never mind. I just wish I could know if Tateno is safe. Still worried about that traitor, huh? So Stanley could ignore all of his questions, but still remember to make snide remarks. Talking about Tateno's the only thing that gets a reaction out of you, isn't it? Kano snorted. What makes you so certain he can't be a traitor? Oh, what makes you so certain he can't be a traitor? Tateno just isn't like that. That's not an answer, Stanley scoffed. Alright, I've watched the man work for years. I know him. He has no reason to betray the Force. You've watched him work, huh? What about his private life, then? You know all about that, too? He hasn't had money trouble or anything like that? Kano felt his blood starting to boil. Flim-flam! I don't care what you think, he said. I trust Detective Tateno. Trust him? On what basis? I don't need any basis to have faith in someone, Kano snapped. Without any basis in fact, it's just plain sentimentality, Stanley said. There's no reason or logic to it. A thin smile came to his face. Be they friends or family, you can never really know other people. The only person you can trust is yourself. Kano had no response for such an emotionless statement. He looked away. He and Stanley were just plain incompatible. It seemed like no amount of talking would let them get through to one another. Never take anything at face value, Kano. You start trusting too much, you're basically as good as dead. Kano just stared out the window. The Shibuya precincts came into view. Tanaka's condo wasn't much further now. I think it'd be farther, actually, but alright. They were outside of Tanaka's condo now. Over there, Stanley said, keeping his voice down. Across the street was one of the foreign syndicate members, walking briskly, the attaché case clutched at his side. I'm making the arrest. Kano, wait! Stanley exclaimed. Kano heard him loud and clear, but he had no intention of stopping. He approached with the criminal at full speed, then leapt to tackle him around the waist. The two men fell to the pavement in a tangled heap. The collision sent the attaché case flying. This is just a random case, isn't it? This is just like the wrong guy. Maybe not. Kano's eyes tracked the case for a moment too long. He was caught off guard when the man threw a punch at him. The blow caught him right in the jaw, snapping his head back. For a moment, Kano saw stars. As he shook off the impact, the man sprang to his feet and sprinted away in the direction of Stanley's car. Big mistake. Stanley, Kano shouted. Grab him, or get the case! Huh. What's it gonna be, ladies and gentlemen? A for get the guy, B for get the case. I mean, Kano's close to the case, so he could get it, and Stanley could get the guy. But at the same time, the case was always the priority, so get the case? So how's this gonna work? A, grab him, B, get the case. What's it gonna be, chat? I want to see where this goes. 1 vote for A, 2 votes for A, 3 votes for A, 1 vote for B. Anyone else? 4 for A. Alright. Oh, wait a minute, now it's 3 for B. A's still winning, but I might want to give this a little bit of time. Any excuse for potentially more punching for real Winterburn. And now it's tied B. Hello, Arturo. So do we have a tiebreaker? Five for B. Wow. Alright. I guess we're doing it. Get the case. And Stanley headed for the attaché case while Kano went after the suspect. Suddenly the fleeing man skidded to a stop. Oh, so maybe it didn't matter? Wow, the chat was joking, but they're right. This guy is Hagrid. Several cars had pulled across the road ahead. The detectives were pouring out of them. His escape route cut off, the criminal resigned himself to capture. Well, okay. While Kano helped make the arrest, several of the other detectives broke into Tanaka's condo. Okay. Stanley, meanwhile, was carefully inspecting the exterior of the attaché case. He'd already opened it. It was stuffed with bundles of banknotes. The 50 million yen ransom was back in police hands. This is a decoy, the American muttered under his breath. I wonder where... His words trailed off, but Kano had heard them. What did you expect? The detective demanded. Samples of that new drug in there? As usual, Stanley gave him no reply. The look on his face, however, told Kano he'd been right on the mark. Some of the Bank up, great. Some of the backup team emerged from Tanaka's condo. Kano turned to them, feeling a sudden surge of anxiety for Maria. "What's the situation in there?" he asked. They told him that they found no one in Tanaka's rooms, so the hostage's status remained unknown and the main culprit had evaded capture. This case hadn't been solved. In fact, it was still unfolding, in the worst way conceivable. And still, Stanley remained focused on the attaché case, pondering it with a thoughtful expression. "Look," Kano told him, "I'm going to request that I be returned to my normal duties. Maria still needs to be rescued, and I still need to find out what happened to Hitomi and Detective Tateno." For once, Stanley actually responded. "Hitomi?" "Yes, that's it. It makes perfect sense that they'd have her carry it." "Huh? What do you mean?" "This whole attaché case relay was a fake-out." "Whoa, slow down," Kano said, wishing he could calm himself with his words. "Explain what you're talking about." "Somehow, the kidnappers made contact with Kenji Osawa, and got him to have Hitomi carry the drug, separate from the ransom." "Wait, you're saying they had Hitomi bring them the drug?" Stanley nodded. "The case handoffs were a sort of camouflage, a way for them to keep the police distracted from their real goal." Kano nodded. It had indeed felt like the case relay was a decoy, an attempt to buy time. If this syndicate were after something else entirely, that would explain why so many of their actions had appeared to make no sense. "So," Kano asked, "what sort of drug is this? Why would they go to such lengths to get their hands on it?" "It's an antiviral," Stanley replied after some hesitation. "A way to cure people infected with a very particular virus." "What virus are we talking about?" "It's called UA. Kano never heard of it. Still, he could imagine the possibilities. Suppose this UA was something like the Ebola virus? Wow, he's like right on the mark. Discovered in Sudan in 1976. Infection causes Ebola hemorrhagic fever. Oh yeah, good point, Mallington. Yeah, Hitomi is the drug. There was never a second case. Resulting in a high fever and massive bleeding throughout the body. At present, there is no vaccine to prevent infection, nor any drug to cure the disease after it manifests. Or perhaps HIV? Human immunodeficiency virus. HIV destroys the cells that are essential for regulating cell-mediated immunity, considerably reducing immune response. This effect can result in infections that would ordinarily be fought off easily, developing into serious illnesses. There are various treatments, but as of yet, nothing that will eradicate the virus completely. Even the all-too-familiar influenza. An infectious disease caused by the influenza virus. Symptoms are similar to that of the common cold, but are much more severe, occasionally resulting in death. There are three main types of the virus, A, B, and C, with A and B causing the typical run of the illness in humans. Neuraminidase is recommended as an effective inhibitor, but this merely alleviates the symptoms and is not a complete cure. There were medicines that could treat all those diseases, but nothing that could cure them completely. Any drug that could do that would be worth vast sums of money. Kano, do you have any means of getting in touch with Mr. Osawa? Yes, I know one of the detectives stationed by his home. Check in with him ASAP. Find out whether or not he gave the antiviral to Hitomi. Kano suppressed a scowl. It looked like he wasn't done insisting Stanley yet. He got out his cell phone and dialed up Kajiwara. Kajiwara picked up promptly. Kano, what's going on? Could I speak with Mr. Osawa? I suppose that'll be alright. What for, though? There's something I need him to confirm for me. It's an emergency. Alright, just make sure not to tell him anything about the investigation. Sure thing. After a while, a man's hoarse voice came over the line. Osawa speaking. Can I help you? This is Detective Kano from the Shibuya precinct. Time is critical, so I need to just cut to the chase here. Kano took a deep breath, and this is where we make a choice that'll determine whether we get a good or bad ending from Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi? Osawa let out a gasp. And now we gotta go back to Osawa and bring Kano back. So this is like the bad ending, but now we gotta snap it back. Damn, this story is freaking captivating. What? He was so startled his voice caught in his throat. What are you talking about? This was top secret. How did Kano know about it? Skaboom! doing it. I'm the one asking the questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi? I'm not sure I understand the question. Osawa's voice trembled as he spoke. Kano was sure to hit the nail right on the head. I know what the Syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. The virus, you, Hitomi. Well, A and B are going to lead to a bad ending, so I'm not going to leave this up to the chat because... Well... No, you know what? If I say A or B, it's probably going to be a bad end, but I don't know what it'll be like on Kano's side. So should I go for the implication stuff, or should I say Hitomi? How should I do this, chat? A, B, or C? A for the virus, B for you, and C for Hitomi. Yeah, Meowington, Kano's storyline is slow, but it really gains speed. C, one vote for C. Any other takes on this? Because I'm honestly tempted to go with C myself. 2 for C. Yeah, C. Alright. Everyone's going C. We're doing it. It's Hitomi. Osawa remains silent. So this is where I free Osawa. Mr. Osawa, is everything alright? The line went dead. Guess that answers that well enough, Kano said as he put away his phone. Now it was clear why the criminals were after Hitomi. He saw an uneasy look on Stanley's face. Something on your mind, Kano asked? Stanley responded with a question of his own. If Hitomi was carrying the antiviral, how were the criminals planning on getting it from her? Kano thought for a moment. Well, taking her by force at the scramble posed too high a risk, he said. There were nearly 100 detectives there, and they must have guessed there would be. That's why they devised the attaché case relay. They wanted to abduct Hitomi somewhere away from the Dragnet's notice. This was the plan that all the signs seemed to suggest. But still, he added, I wonder how they managed to lead her away from police protection. A look of revelation crossed Stanley's face. All they'd need to do was convince her to go of her own accord. But how? Kano asked. And then it came to him. He thought back to Hitomi's initial contact with Tariq Al-Karawan. Just before he'd taken the attaché case from her, the two had a brief conversation. It was possible Al-Karawan had given Hitomi some form of instructions then. Guess we're back to tracking down Al-Karawan again, huh? Kano could tell from the look in Stanley's eyes that he was on the verge of saying something. Probably some remark about how Tateno had allowed Al-Karawan to run free. Right now, Kano wasn't going to argue the point. After this case was resolved, he discovered what Tateno's real motives were. Motives. And once he did, Stanley would eat his words. In the meantime... We can't just wander around looking without any leads, he said. Until we get more intel, let's see what we can do with the security cameras back at the precinct. Huh, and they went. Numerous monitors shone down on the pair as they entered the Shibuya precinct surveillance room. Each showed an array of faces of individuals somewhere in Shibuya. Kano asked one of the operators to pull up Al-Karawan's data on screen. Oh wow. So he's from Iran, his build is medium, he knows Arabic, English, and Japanese, hair dark brown, eyes black, male, light complexion, no known scars and marks, past record, previous offenses of drug possession, like there's something that goes off screen, drug possession, etc. He's a leader of the crime, blah 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 blah. And he was born in February 15th, 1976. Although it's interesting that it says date of birth used. His weight is unknown. Alright, and his height is 6'9"? That's pretty damn tall. Huh. By selecting each of the faces on the monitors in turn, they could run comparisons to determine if anyone among them was Al-Karawan. One by one, the operator made his way through the faces. Assuming the target was still in Shibuya, there was a high likelihood they'd find him. But the minutes ticked past, and there was still no sign of him. Kano's tone grew more and more impatient as he directed the operator's search. Just calm down, Stanley said. He set a hand on Kano's shoulder. You keep wasting your energy when you don't need to. That's just how I do things, Kano replied. I'm energetic because I care. He pointed at another face of the operator. Well, you're setting yourself up for a short life. With a sigh, Stanley sank into a nearby chair. My brother was like you. Whoa. We're actually getting character development on Stanley? Damn, dude. Oh, interesting question, Fool Arcana. The A who emailed Osawa in the beginning might have been Al-Karawan? That'd be something else. The American spoke so quietly that his words were barely audible. Interesting. 10 minutes later, a man clad in black appeared on one of the monitors. The operator lined up his cursor. The comparison check confirmed that it was Alcarawan. Yes! Cano hissed, pumping his fist. It appeared that their quarry was simply walking around town, calm and composed. Cano radioed in Alcarawan's location to Kuze. All units, intercept the suspect on the double, Kuze ordered. Cano will provide guidance using the surveillance monitors. They saw Alcarawan stop in front of a cigarette vending machine. Was he waiting for someone? Sasayama reporting, I've got eyes on the mutt. Perpetrator? Is mutt, really? Hook, to put someone in cuffs. Dipper, pickpocket. Wants, outstanding warrants. Hang paper, to write multiple citations, and other such traditional police jargon. I didn't know about that. Huh. Kano's partner had evidently been nearby. I'm making the arrest, he said. There was a note of courage in Sasayama's voice. He came into view on the monitor, walking casually. At some point, he ditched his anime nerd costume for a street dancer's getup. It didn't appear that Alcarawan had noticed him yet. Bit by bit, Sasayama closed the distance. Not much further now. Kano's hand balled into a fist as he watched, and then something unexpected happened. Another man came running into view, right in the middle of the monitor. Teruo Toyama. Oh god. While searching for Hana at Shibuya Gigo, he was located by a duo of debt collectors and fled the scene. Hana left Gigo to find him and ran into him here in Mariamacho. The pair are heading toward Koendori, trying to find a place to hide. There was no sound, but they could see that the newcomer was shouting something. As Alcarawan turned to look at the man, Sasayama launched himself like a bullet from a gun. In an instant, Detective and Perp were locked in a violent scuffle right there in the street. Kano swallowed a lump in his throat as he watched the struggle unfold. Earlier in the day, Alcarawan had done a number on Sasayama, but this time the detective had the upper hand. He got a grip on Alcarawan's neck and kneed him repeatedly. Alcarawan tried desperately to bring Sasayama to the ground, but Sasayama braced himself and avoided the takedown. Then he shifted his stance and took Alcarawan to the pavement with a spectacular hip throw. Damn. Yes! Kano clapped his hands together in excitement. Catching the perp in a scarf hold, Sasayama got out his handcuffs. A technique in judo. Involves wrapping an arm around the opponent's neck while performing an upper body pin. You know, like a scarf. Stanley, we should head to the scene, Kano said. He looked away from the monitor for a mere moment, and when he looked back, Sasayama had released his hold and crumbled to the ground. Crumbled? Wouldn't it be crumpled? With a P? What? Panicked, Kano stared at the image of his friend. Oh, damn! There was something jutting up from Sasayama's abdomen. Zoom in, Kano cried frantically. The camera closed in on Sasayama. Now Kano could see exactly what he'd feared. Sasayama had been stabbed in the gut. Blood pooled on the pavement around him. Kano screamed, Sasayama! The camera showed several other detectives arriving at the scene, capturing Alcarawan before he could escape, but Sasayama lay motionless. The pool of blood around him spread further and further across the pavement. Unable to look any longer, Kano rushed from the surveillance room. Yo, this freaking game, it just doesn't stop with the twists and turns. That's some to be continued. Jesus. Normally I'd call the stream right here, but we are so close to being done with every character, so I'll go back to Osawa. This is freaking nuts. No longer a bad end, by the way. What are you talking about? How did the detective know? Did you give it to your daughter? I don't understand. I know what it's really after. Yeah, when he heard what Kano said next, but then Osawa hung up. But now we can move on. Osawa staggered out of the living room. He needed to be alone. To his surprise, Kajiwara didn't try to stop him. There, see? Now there's no confession, and now there's no bad end. But then again, though, what did Minorikawa see? Shutting his study door behind him, he dropped onto a sofa and grabbed 3 times his normal dosage of stomach pills. There was no water in the room, so he had to swallow them dry. Detective Kano's words echoed in his mind. I know what the Syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. It's Hitomi. There was only one reason they could be after Hitomi. He broke out in a cold sweat as he began to understand what this kidnapping was really about. It had all started 6 days earlier. It was April 22nd. Osawa had just returned from the U.S. the day before. He was in the midst of some routine work at the General Research Lab when his cell phone rang. The LCD display showed an unlisted caller. With some hesitation, Osawa picked up. Hello? Is this Kenji Osawa? The caller was using a voice modulator, a type of device or software used to make one's voice sound different. Changing a voice to the point of making a voice print or tone analysis impossible presents a major challenge. To be able to do so in real time requires major financial and technological resources. Osawa raised an eyebrow. Yes?
Go and analyze Hitomi's blood.
Her blood?
If you don't, she's going to die.
With that, the caller hung up. There was an intensity behind this that made Osawa sure it wasn't some prank call. He had Hitomi come into the lab ASAP. He told Hitomi he wanted a sample of her blood for an experiment. She agreed, suspecting nothing. He placed some of the blood he'd drawn into a glass slide and added some fluorescein, a type of fluorescent dye. So fluorescein is a yellow-green liquid, a type of fluorescent dye, chiefly used in preparing specimens for viewing under a fluorescent microscope, but has other uses as well, such as a diagnostic reagent administered in eye exams. Its highest volume use is on St. Patrick's Day, when massive amounts of fluorescein are used to dye the Chicago River green. Oh wow. And the dye causes the dyed substance to emit higher wavelength fluorescent light when illuminated with a certain other type of light. Such dyes can reveal fine details when used on specimens viewing through a fluorescent microscope. Placing the slide under a fluorescence microscope, he took a look. It can't be. Osawa could hardly believe his eyes. Wriggling under the microscope was the Grim Reaper's sickle itself. There was no mistaking it. Hitomi was infected with the UA virus. Oh boy! Trembling, Osawa hurried to his computer. He opened the UA virus folder on his monitor. Within were images showing the stages of the virus's propagation. He double-clicked to magnify the first image. Oh boy. The Reaper's sickles were interlocked with one another. He clicked on the next image. After further propagation, the UA virus looked less like a sickle, more a sort of insectoid larva. Next was the final image. Oh no! Interlocked into a single mass, the UA virus vaguely resembled a sinister, many-petaled sunflower. It took a mere 12 hours for the pathogen to develop to this point and begin its hideous destruction of the human body. Hello, Michael. Hitomi's sample was still in the state shown in the first image. There was still a chance to save her. Osawa slumped back in his chair, huddling in on himself. He had no choice. There was only one way to save Hitomi. He would have to administer the nearly completed antiviral. Using the antiviral without official approval was a grievous violation of company policy. Acting against company rules and regulations, Okoshi Pharmaceutical prohibits leaking work-related information to outsiders. In the case of a major violation, not only can the violator be fired, but the company may also seek indemnities. Still, Osawa didn't have time to get the higher-ups to approve a clinical trial. He might be punished severely for it, but this was his only option. His daughter's life was at stake. But there was also another, even bigger hurdle in his way. The antiviral drug was stored in the deepest recesses of the biochemical research building. A high-intensity X-ray scanner was set up at the entrance to the storage area. This made it impossible for him to take research materials out. X-ray is a type of radiation, also referred to as Rontgen rays, with a shorter wavelength than UV light, but a longer than gamma rays. Because X-rays can penetrate many objects with little absorption or scattering, they can be used to create images of internal structure. Hospitals, for example, use X-ray technology to examine the insides of patients' bodies, while security personnel use it to scan luggage at airports and to search for bombs. Well, if he couldn't get the antiviral out of there, he'd have to bring Hitomi in. A course of action quickly took shape in his mind. First, he'd need to slip out of the General Research Building. He would then head to the Biochemical Research Facility and show his ID card to the guard at the front gate. Many facilities that carry out highly classified research assign different levels of security clearance to individual researchers, and only those with suitable clearance, as indicated by their ID cards, are admitted to restricted areas. Development of more advanced technologies, such as electronic ID tags, are replacing older barcode-type entry cards. Whoa, cool. Wireframe. After passing through a lobby under the watchful gaze of several security cameras, he'd reach an elevator at the end of the hall that went directly to the storage section. This elevator required an ID card scan to operate. Yo, I'm digging this. It would take about 20 seconds to get down to the first basement level and arrive at the entrance of the storage area. Finding an excuse to get Hitomi that far ought to be doable. If the security guard got suspicious, Osawa could say it was for a top-secret hematology experiment, and the guard would probably believe him. The problem was what came after. This is freaking cool. Getting into the storage area itself required fingerprint authentication for both Osawa and Tanaka. This meant that he couldn't possibly get to the antiviral without Tanaka's cooperation. Desperate with uncertainty, Osawa called up Tanaka. He frantically explained the situation. Understood, Tanaka replied. We need to get her this drug as soon as possible. If the company finds out about this, you'll be held accountable for violation of corporate policy along with me. Are you sure you're okay with that? What are you talking about? Hitomi's life is more important than company policy. Tanaka spoke without hesitation. Osawa felt an immense surge of gratitude for his assistant. And I have to say, I'm deeply moved by your determination, Tanaka added. Moved? Whatever for? You really are worried about Hitomi. Osawa's gratitude faded. What are you talking about? Of course I am. My apologies. It's just that putting your career on the line for something so personal is... It's what? It's not like me? No. Well, yes. I'm sorry. Now Tanaka's voice was colored with embarrassment. Just what sort of person do you think I am? Osawa resisted the urge to ask the question out loud. A short time later, Osawa and Tanaka stood before the door to the secure storage area. The security guard had let them in without the slightest suspicion. Osawa pressed his index finger to the fingerprint scanner first. Accepted. He realized he'd been holding his breath as his authorization finally went through. Half a moment later, Tanaka touched his own finger to the scanner plate. Accepted. Oh man. The lock released with an audible clang and the heavy door opened. Osawa hurried to retrieve the antiviral. As he picked up a small vial, he had a sudden realization. They were finally going to use the drug in a human test. His fatherly wish to cure Hitomi was overlaid by an intense rush of curiosity, the researcher's drive to discover his results. Hurry. I need to hurry. I need to administer the antiviral as soon as possible. Osawa could hardly fend off his excitement. Over the course of the next few hours, following the injection, the UA virus would be eradicated from Hitomi's body. There had been some fever and cramping as temporary side effects, but the DDS had done a spectacular job of stomping out the virus. Drug delivery system. You'll learn all about this in Police Knots. Also known as smart drug delivery, the ability to target a specific region of the body with a specific drug has momentous implications for the future of medicine. DDS technology is currently being tested extensively around the world. In saving his daughter's life, Osawa had proven the value of his research. If he had been asked which made him happier, he would have been hard-pressed to give an answer. Afterwards, he asked Hitomi where she could have become infected, but she had no idea. He explained the need for secrecy and strictly forbade her telling anyone else what had happened. Now a week had passed since Osawa gave the drug to Hitomi. He'd been conducting checks and had discovered that the DDS had not broken down, but remained in Hitomi's bloodstream. Extracting the DDS was a simple matter, requiring just a small blood sample from around the nape of the neck. The DDS tends to linger in the nape of the neck because of the lymph nodes located there. These lymph nodes identify viruses that invade the body as foreign substances to be attacked, but they're not always able to overcome particularly powerful pathogens. In such cases, the virus propagates rapidly inside of them. Once the patient has been treated, the antiviral will seek out the virus and accumulate there as well. Residual amounts of the antiviral itself stayed behind within the cells. The materials used to create the DDS must, as a matter of course, cause minimal or no harm to the human body. Ideally, rather than accumulate inside the body, DDS substances should be either digested and absorbed or excreted. Because the antiviral must remain in the body for as long as the virus is active, however, a very careful balance must be struck between persistence and dissipation. Using the DDS, it was possible to extract those minuscule amounts from cells in a blood sample. It might take considerable time, but a sufficiently detailed analysis could allow for the antiviral drug itself to be reconstructed. Osawa felt a chill as he contemplated the situation. The kidnappers had known how tough security was at the lab, so they'd come with the idea of using a human vessel to get what they needed from within. By infecting Hitomi with the UA virus, they'd ensure that she'd receive the antiviral, that she'd have it in her blood. Yeah. If Tanaka was working with the kidnappers, that explained why he'd been so cooperative about the fingerprint scanner. Damn it! Osawa shouted. He clutched his head in his hands. Tanaka had been his partner and trusted confidant for years. Osawa refused to believe he'd been betrayed like this. The front door chime sounded. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara called out. It appears you have a visitor. Could you handle that? Oh, Minorikawa! We can do this now! Who could it possibly be now of all times? You deal with it. Osawa was in no state of mind to receive a guest. Alright, coming out. So do we talk to Minorikawa or not, ladies and gentlemen? A, send Kajiwara out and Minorikawa wastes his time. Or B, we talk to Minorikawa and we give him a freaking scoop of a lifetime. Well, not for the virus, but... Well, actually, we really can't help him even when we do talk to him, right? The twins are gone. So, yeah, what are we doing? A or B? Let's see what it's going to be. And this will free Minorikawa for sure. So maybe we should have stayed around. Any options here? Which choice gets us arrested? Neither, Winterburn. We were arrested as a result of not having played Kano's story before. So he said, like, they're looking for you. So most people are going with B. It's 3-1 right now. 4-1. Yeah, let's help Minorikawa out. He stumbled wearily back to the living room where the investigators were staring at the intercom monitor with concern. The intercom's hidden camera showed a man with an unsettling grin posed intimidatingly outside the front gate. Osawa didn't recognize him. Yes, who is it? He asked guardedly through the intercom. It's Minorikawa. Where might I know you from, Mr. Minorikawa? Oh, you know, here and there. I mean, there's only one Minorikawa, really. Are you playing games with me? I don't have the time for that. Please just open up. There's no way I'm letting you in, Osawa said. But the nonsensical badgering continued. Look, just hold your horses. I'm here for an interview. You got that? An interview? That's right. It's a piece for 4-star General Gossip. The name of the magazine brought up an unpleasant memory. Yeah, about his marriage. That was the gossip rag that had run the article about his political marriage. Wait, this is for one of those kinds of articles? What do you mean, those kinds of articles? I'm just looking for an interview. The man's tone was both high-handed and belligerent. Like hell you are. I'm not talking to anyone from the gossip. You're not the one I'm here to talk to. I want to interview your twin daughters. My daughters? I understand they won a shared prize for a beauty contest in Midoriyama Academy. If you wouldn't mind my interviewing them, Furious, Osawa cut off the intercom. This was no time to be indulging someone else's nonsense. Hey, what gives? The man was shouting so loud his voice carried past the gate and through the front door. I'm begging out here, on my hands and knees. He wasn't actually on his hands and knees. Osawa could see that clearly through the intercom monitor. If your daughters aren't home, can you at least tell me I want to get in touch with them? Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara said, frowning. This isn't a good time to have someone drawing attention to your home. Alright, I'll get rid of him. Osawa hurried out of the house, confronting Minorikawa to the front gate. The journalist had that tenacious look that immediately marked him as a member of the media. Give me your business card, Osawa said. I'll have them get in touch with you later. He took Minoru's card, then went right back inside. Okay. Back in his study, Osawa tossed Minorikawa's business card into the trash. Unable to think of what else to do, he tried the internet fortune teller again. He got the same "you're a very work-minded person" result a second time. If you don't get over your indifference to the world might start to harbor quite a grudge. My indifference to the world around me, huh? The truth was that even with his closest companions, even with Tanaka, for instance, his relationship had always been strictly a matter of business. He'd never really taken it upon himself to get to know Tanaka as a person. And that was pretty much the case for everyone he knew. He harbored no interest in other people. He had no concern for his fellow man. That had made itself abundantly clear when he received the microscope as a birthday present way back in 1st grade. Even now he still remembered the shock he'd felt when he looked through that lens for the first time. He discovered a new, almost infinite world hidden in the midst of one he'd always thought was too small. By comparison, the real world seemed bland and ugly. Wherever he looked, wherever he went, he had to contend with tedium. It hadn't taken long for him to become more charmed by the world under his microscope than the one around him. It was like a calm, quiet little seaside, a beach, where he could just sit and stare out at the waves. He wanted to stay immersed in that world forever and ever. Before he knew it, he was an adult, and then a husband, and then a father. The people around him thought him an odd fellow, but he hadn't let that change the way he lived his life, and this, now, was the result. He hadn't been betrayed by Tanaka. He didn't know Tanaka well enough for that. Find a way to connect more deeply with the people around you and start living a better life before it's too late. Just do that and you're sure to have a wonderful future ahead. Huh. Osawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. I had tried calling him repeatedly and hadn't gotten through. It was doubtful that he'd pick up. Still, Osawa had to try. The phone rang several times, and he listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment. What is it? Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osawa's ear. The tension was electric. Oh boy. Keep out? Really? We're not done? God damn, dude. I think I might actually have to call the stream anyway, because there's a bunch to do with Minorikawa and Osawa, and we're only at the half-hour point. And my voice, like my throat is getting exhausted. I'm going to have to cut it off now, even though we're really picking up. But thank you very much for joining the stream, and have a wonderful night.